Hello and welcome to the Virtual Nature School. We're on session 3 in our inquiry around going on a journey. Today what we're going to do is look closely, is to be able to really think about those things that are around us, the beauty of the bark, the gorgeous flower, the little insect that flies by. So today is about capturing images, taking photographs or maybe taking a drawing and going off to explore what's right on your doorstep.
Welcome to this film all around going on a journey. We've been exploring the whole idea about why it's so good to go on journeys, to walk outside, whether we're in cities or whether we're near the countryside. We've talked about how important it is that we pack our own rucksack, we make our own sandwich, we put a bottle of water in that bag and we head off on an exciting journey of discovery. Whilst we've been looking at all of this, we've been uncovering something called a map. And a map is a very clever thing because it has different colours to show us what's there. It has blue lines for rivers. It has red lines for roads. So we can use maps to help us understand how to get around. We can draw our own maps and they help us to remember where we're going and where we've been. We had a go at thinking all about how you show that you've got a signpost. How do you show the way to go? Well, people have been making those signposts. We've been looking at arrows, whether we've done them in wood or done them in chalk. And we've been making up trails. So we've been giving clues to take people from one place to another. So in our talking tub today, what we're going to be thinking a little bit more about is how do you know where we are? How do you know that you're on planet Earth? How do we know that we live in Scotland? Do we know what town we live in? Do we know the name of our street and the house number that we've got? So it's really important that we understand where we are so that we don't feel lost at any point. Now, in the old days, if we take a journey back in time, they didn't have a phone to tell you where they were. They didn't have lots of writing around the landscape. So they had to remember where they were using hills, using mountains or trees. They had to use something called a compass. And a compass is a very clever thing because it shows us which way round we're facing. Now, when you look at a compass, you can see it's got all sorts of numbers on it. And it's also got letters on it. So it's got letters that tell us about the north and the south and the east and the west. And when you go out for a walk, you can move that compass around and it turns that red needle to point to the north. One of the interesting things about our planet is that it has spaces that are what you call magnetic, the magnetic north. And it's not that there's a giant magnet sitting up there, it's just that that's the way our planet moves around the sun. Let's think about those letters. Now, a letter is something that you use in your own name. So it's things like K for Claire or D for dog. So these are the letters that are at the beginning of the words. N for north, S for south, E for east, W for west. So we can learn all our letters and our sounds by using our compass when we go out for a walk. So you may have one of these at home, and if you have, it would be good to get it out and have a go at playing around with it, because as you move around, you'll see that the red arrow likes to point to north. If we go back in time on our journey, and we look at this photograph, there's an interesting machine on the right-hand side. It's full of different dials and levers. That's called a sextant. And a sextant was used to help people navigate by the stars. Because if you don't have any way of looking at where you are and you're out sailing in a boat, it was very easy to understand and read the stars. Because the stars are in the sky above us when we go to bed. Sometimes we can see them when it's a clear night, and sometimes we can't if it's a cloudy day. So what they used to do was to be able to identify and name a whole variety of what you call constellations. And by working out where those stars were, they could work out what direction they were going in, north, south, east or west. One particular star is very bright, and that's called the North Star. And so at night time, if you were trying to find your way around, you would follow the North Star. Now we have modern things. We have phones that give us our location. We have a compass that's either on our phone or it's a real compass like you can see this boy holding. We have a map that can be on our phone, but we also have a map that we can hold. So have a look at your local map and see if you can find out where you live. Maybe find out where your friends and your family live. It could be that you've got a big sphere called a globe in your house, and you might be able to look at the globe and find and discover new countries that you want to know where they are on this big ball that we're on called planet Earth. When you go out for your walks, you need to look, and we've been practicing that this week, looking to see what is the tree at the end of this little bit of cliff. What is the tree that's further along the cliff, because it doesn't look the same. So you need to understand the names of trees, what they look like, and that helps you to remember where you are. When you're out and about in the park, you might know where the pathway goes because you see something like a bandstand or a bench. So understanding and noticing the things around you help you work out where you've been, where you are now, and where you want to go to next. So one thing I thought you could have a go at doing today was having a go at what you call photo orienteering. That's a very big word, but essentially what it means is that you use a camera and you take photographs of things in your local community, or you might take them in your garden, or you might just take them inside your house. And then you show somebody else and see if they can guess where you were when you took the photograph. So what would you take a photograph of? Well, if you're outside, you could take a photo of a bench where maybe you stopped to have your lunch. If you're on the beach, you might take a photograph of the seaweed, because different types of seaweed like to live in different parts of the beach. If you're a gardener, you might really enjoy being outside in your garden, and so you take a photograph of the raspberry bush and see if people can remember where that is in the garden. If you're out in a forest, you might take a wonderful photograph looking up a very tall tree and see if the people that you're with can guess where you were when you took the photograph. So today is a day about thinking about how do you know where you are, looking in your environment. If you haven't had a go at drawing it yet, that's always a good thing to do. But you might also today want to use your photography skills and use your camera to take photographs and then play a game with your friends and family to see if they can guess what you were looking at when you took that photograph. I look forward to seeing how you get on.
Isn't it amazing to think that we can take a photograph on our camera to be able to remember the beauty of the space that we're in? Today, the wind is blowing here at the nature school, and so I can hear the trees that are all around me, but it's different when you go out and look at the trees. So I'm going to go and take my camera and go outside now and see if I can do a bit of photo orienteering with my friends. I look forward to hearing about how you get on.